Today, we'll learn two very important lessons from two different stories. First, the art of talking to little children, who learn by imitating, not by obedience. And second, how to safeguard women in our society and ensure them equal rights.
The Garden of Little Wonders. Navin was 11, and to him, the world was a place of logic and fast-paced games. His little sister, Elidi, was 3, and to her, the world was a giant, shimmering mystery. Navin often watched her from the sofa, puzzled by how she could spend 20 minutes staring at a single ladybug or trying to fit a square block into a round hole. He didn't realize that every second he watched her, Elidi was watching him even more closely. One afternoon, Navin lost a level in his video game and let out a loud, frustrated huff, crossing his arms tightly. A moment later, he felt a presence beside him. There was Elidi, her tiny arms crossed over her chest, her face scrunched into a perfect mimicry of his grumpy expression. Navin started to laugh, but then he stopped. He realized that Elidi wasn't just playing, she was downloading his every move into her growing mind. Their mother, Veda, sat Navin down that evening. "Think of Elidi's brain as a garden, Navin," she explained, gesturing to the vibrant flowers outside. In these early years, her mind is making millions of connections every single second. She doesn't learn from books yet. She learns by mirroring us. If we are impatient, she learns to be anxious. If we are kind, she learns that the world is a safe place to grow. Later, Navin watched his father, Kenji, interact with Elidi when she dropped her juice. Instead of sighing or rushing to scrub the floor, Kenji knelt so he was at Elidi's eye level. "It's okay, Elidi. Accidents happen. Let's clean it together," he said in a low, melodic voice. Navin noticed how Elidi's shoulders dropped from her ears and her panicked expression turned into a determined little nod. Navin decided to try a new experiment. Instead of building his tall towers alone, he invited Elidi to help. When the tower inevitably wobbled and crashed, Navin didn't groan. He laughed softly and said, "Whoops, that's part of the fun. Let's try a wider base this time." He saw Elidi's eyes widen. She wasn't just learning about gravity. She was learning how to handle failure without fear. Veda joined Elidi in the play area with a basket of laundry. She didn't shoo the toddler away. Instead, she gave Elidi a small pile of socks to sort. Veda explained to Navin, "When we involve her in our rhythm, we are building her sense of belonging. Her brain is wired to want to contribute. By giving her a job, we are telling her that her presence is valuable and her efforts matter." One day, Elidi went through a phase of asking, "Why?" about everything. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds sing? Why is the water wet? Navin started to get tired of the questions. But then he remembered what Kenji had told him. Curiosity is the engine of intelligence. Instead of saying, "I don't know," Navin grabbed a picture book. "That's a great question, Elidi. Let's find the answer together." Kenji showed Navin a diagram in a science journal. "See these paths, Navin? They are like the roads in a city." In Elidi's brain, the roads we build now, through hugs, steady voices, and shared puzzles, will be the main highways she uses for the rest of her life. We are literally shaping the architecture of her future happiness. Navin looked at the complex web of lines, feeling a new sense of responsibility. That evening, when Elidi had a big feeling and started to cry because her favorite toy was missing, Navin didn't tell her to be quiet. He sat on the floor near her and just stayed present. "You're sad because you miss your bear. I understand," he said quietly. Eventually, Elidi crawled into his lap. By acknowledging her emotion, Navin was helping her brain learn how to regulate its own storms. Years passed, and the garden of the home flourished. Veda and Kenji watched from the porch as a teenage Navin helped a confident, bright-eyed Elidi with her science project. The foundation they had built wasn't made of bricks, but of moments. They knew that because they had nurtured the little wonder, she had grown into a girl who knew how to think, how to love, and how to bloom.
Now let's listen to another story about a boy named Alaric and his sister Elara. Through their story, we learn an important lesson: that true strength is not about being strong or brave. It's about respecting and protecting the dignity of girls and making the world a safe place for them.
The Shield of Honor. In the heart of a city that never slept lived Alaric, a teenager who took pride in his strength and his kindness. He looked out over the glowing streets every evening, believing that the world was a fair place for everyone, as long as you worked hard and stayed out of trouble. He felt like the city belonged to him, and he belonged to the city. Alaric had a sister named Elara who was his match in every way. She beat him at complex strategy games and often outran him during their morning sprints through the park. To Alaric, they were two sides of the same coin, equal in spirit, equal in intellect, and equal in their right to chase their dreams across the horizon. But one evening, as the sun began to dip below the buildings, Elara declined a walk to the library. "I don't like that route after dark," she said quietly. "The shadows there feel heavy." Alaric was confused. He had walked those streets 1,000 times and never felt a thing. He realized then that the world he walked in was not the same one Elara navigated. The next day, Alaric began to see the shadows Elara had mentioned. At a crowded bus stop, he saw a girl named Maya trying to read her book while a group of boys blocked her path, making loud, uncomfortable jokes. Maya kept her head down, her shoulders hunched, trying to make herself invisible. Alaric felt a knot tighten in his chest. Alaric's first instinct was to turn away. "It's not my business," he whispered to himself. "I'm not the one being mean." But as he started to walk, he felt a heavy weight of responsibility. If he, who valued respect and equality, stayed silent, then he was part of the very shadows that made Elara afraid to walk home. He thought of Elara's bright laugh and how it dimmed when the sun went down. He realized that a world where his sister felt unsafe was a world that was broken for everyone. True strength wasn't about winning a race or a game. It was about using his presence to ensure that every girl and woman could walk as freely as he did. Alaric turned back. He walked over to the bus stop and stood near Maya, not to be a hero, but to be an ally. He looked at the leader of the group, a boy named Julian, whom he knew from school. "Hey, Julian," Alaric said firmly but calmly. "That's enough. Let's head over to the courts and leave her be." Julian hesitated, the bravado fading from his face as he met Alaric's steady gaze. He saw that Alaric wasn't looking for a fight, but for a standard of respect. "Yeah, okay," Julian muttered, stepping back. As they walked away together, Alaric didn't lecture him. He simply showed him that being a man meant being a guardian of safety, not a source of fear. That night, Alaric walked Elara home. They talked about their dreams and their day, and for the first time, Alaric understood that his role in the world was to be a shield. By standing up and speaking out, he was helping to build a city where the shadows didn't have to be heavy for anyone. Alaric stood before his mirror and made a promise to himself, a code to live by. He knew that the safety of women was not just a women's issue, but a human responsibility. He picked up a pen and wrote down his pledge, knowing that every boy who stood up changed the world for the better.
If this video opened your eyes or touched your heart, subscribe to the God Knows Show right now, or you might lose us in this crowd of highly stimulating social media content. Let's join hands and shape a kinder, wiser, and more empathetic generation. Subscribe and become a part of this initiative.